Alternate universes give us an interesting look into how things could be. For instance, let's say that in a storyline, a main character defeats the first big bad guy he comes into contact with. This big bad guy really isn't a heavy part of the storyline. He's just some peon that needed to be the first big bad guy defeated. But what if he isn't defeated? What if instead the main character joined up with him and became a bad guy himself? This is the kind of thing that alternate universes allow us to explore, and this is the idea behind the Godzilla comic series in general. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Doomasect, and today we're going to be taking a look at a 5-part series that takes this concept even further. Godzilla Legends. Godzilla Legends is comprised of 5 chapters like most of the Godzilla comics, but these chapters have no connections to each other. They're essentially just 5 random comics, and I plan to review them as such. Our first Legends comic features Anguirus in a battle with Destroya. Oh yes, I'm sure you can all imagine how well that fight must go. As far as Kaiju go in the Godzilla universe, Destroya is a top-tier Kaiju. In fact, he's arguably Godzilla's strongest opponent to date, as Godzilla was barely able to beat him in his meltdown form, which itself is usually viewed as Godzilla's strongest form. Anguirus, on the other hand, not so much. While I can dominate with Anguirus in the video games, in just about all other Godzilla media today, he's one of the low-tier monsters. In fact, until Final Wars, Anguirus was easily viewable as one of the weakest creatures in the Godzilla universe. I mean, with maybe the exception of his first appearance, he hasn't had a great track record. Of course, he also has a never-say-die attitude, charging into fights against much larger kaiju than himself, like Mechagodzilla, Giant, and even King Ghidorah. Now, our storyline revolves around a scientist having accidentally stumbled upon a device that attracts Kaiju Alpha, also known as Godzilla. In the incident, he was the only person to escape. Flash forward to Destroya attacking the military base he's on, and him being forced to activate the device again, which this time summons Anguirus. The fight goes about as well as you'd expect it to, Destroya beating down Anguirus pretty hard, and Anguirus refusing to stay down, always getting back up to charge again. Through intervention on part of the humans using a tank of Freon to freeze part of Destroya, Anguirus is able to drive off the larger kaiju. Story ends with Anguirus wading out into the sea, only to be greeted by Kaiju Alpha himself. Godzilla then proceeds to get attacked by the military, cause, you know, Godzilla. Now overall the story isn't bad, it's certainly one of the better stories in Godzilla Legends, and it certainly gives us an interesting look into the world of giant monsters outside of what we usually see. The movies only really give us Godzilla fighting said other monsters, but I know that I myself have always been curious to see what happens if monsters would clash with different monsters. The last really interesting thing to note about this story is the artist is Matt Frank. And Matt Frank is the man who did the Godzilla Neo series, which is where I first learned of him. He's also helping work on Colossal Kaiju Combat and does the artwork for Godzilla Rulers of Earth, and much more. I may or may not have a little bit of a man crush on him, but that is besides the point. Well guys, I do hope you've enjoyed my analysis of Godzilla Legends. If you did, please leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, please subscribe. Till next time, watch out for bears.